Thank you so much. It's great to be here and everybody.
So I'll talk a little bit about your partnership with Brand Innovators, the evolution of it from the virtual days to now.
Better. Thank you. Thank you for that. Brand Innovators has been a tremendous partner for us. So just to even set the framework of it, Audacy is an audio company. We're in the podcast space, traditional radio space, streaming audio space. And we rebranded ourselves in 2021 from a collection of about 250 brands to Audacy. And very crowded marketplace, iHeart, Spotify, Pandora, SXM, and we needed to gain some critical mass very quickly. Our buyers were ad-supported platforms, so our buyers are the ad agencies, the media agencies, but the influencers were the brands. And what Brand Innovators, when we looked at them as a potential platform, what they gave us access to was really intimate, meaningful settings where we could connect directly with brands. And those brands may not be buying us directly, but we're able to build relationships there that create influence on the agencies to buy our services. So that was the insight for us, is the access that Brand Innovators gives platforms like ours, like all of yours, to these brands that you would not normally get in the course of a business day.
Well, and of course, you're here to build relationships with brands, and that's why all of our partners partner with us. So it's funny, internally, when we have a new partner come on board, we talk a lot about how we can coach them, and we liken it to dating. We talk about this idea of courting brands because nobody wants to be proposed to on the first date. You have to slow your roll a little bit.
So not Tinder.
Yes, not at all. That's what we tell folks. It's a long game with brands and building these relationships. And I feel like that's something that you guys do really well at Audacy. So I'd love for you to expand a little bit more on that approach and talk to us a little bit more about, the brands that you have done, partnerships with, like American Eagle.
Sure. So, I had the opportunity to sit up here on the stage and wear the Audacy badge, but there is a team around me that does a lot of legwork, and we spend a lot of time thinking about the brands that we want to bring into the portfolio, the advertisers we want to bring on the platform. We work really closely with Lauren and the client success team to identify those brands, and then we spend a lot of time doing research coming in. So we come into these meetings understanding who these brands are, what their business objectives are, what their marketing strategies are, and we put together thoughtful programming and thoughtful questions and an approach to meet them here that is going to be complementary to what they're doing. And it's exactly what you said. We're not going in there to hard sell. We're going in there to build those relationships over time. And the win for us is when a brand like American Eagle, who is a real big target brand of ours. And the reason American Eagle is a target brand is they skew very young, millennial, Gen Z. It is an epicenter brand for that demographic. And audio tends to skew a little bit older. So one of our objectives is to move the Audacy brand into the mindset, into the lexicon of younger consumers. And American Eagle perfectly fit that target. So we started that when we were virtual. We built a relationship with their head of media, with their CMO, and they become really close friends and advocates and supporters of Audacy. And they make strong recommendations for their agencies when their agencies are building media plans for them when they think about audio to have Audacy on there. So that is a perfect example of that triangular relationship that I was talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think a lot of the success that you guys have derived from Brand Innovators too has been the consistency of our events. You guys are showing up at different form factors in different cities, and so you're seeing the senior market from American Eagle constantly, right? I'm sure that really helped in building those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, like all of you, we have a finite marketing budget, and we need to make sure that every dollar is working hard, driving ROI back into the brand. And we have to make decisions on the platforms that we're going to invest in very carefully. And what Brand Innovators gives us is that consistent access over time. Another thing, too, is to listen to the other platforms speak and to hear their perspectives. It makes us better marketers. So to be with those brands time and time again, and then to be in an environment with platforms who are ultimately selling to these brands, it makes us better, it makes us sharper. But yeah, consistency is at the heart of it.
It really is key in the community. So if you, what advice would you give someone sitting in the audience now who isn't a current partner and is considering partnership? What would you tell them today?
I would say if you're going to do it, and I would recommend it, I would be sitting here with Lauren and this team if I didn't really believe in it. And we have demonstrative ROI from this. What I would say is it is a partnership that you have to lean into. There's one of those exercises where if you sit back to back with somebody on the floor and you push against each other, you can stand up without putting your hands on the ground. And I think that that's the metaphor here, is that you have to lean into this partnership. You have to study the opportunities and the content and show up at the right places based on whatever your objectives are. And you have to do the research coming into it. You have to, you're not going to close a deal on day one, but you have to think about it as almost like live account-based marketing, where you are, this is part of your ABM strategy, and these are live touches. What happens before, what happens after, getting those people into your databases, consistently sending them things, and hopefully building those relationships. Coming back live, these moments to connect live are really special.
ABM is one of our favorite words here. As Izzy and Katie know. Yes, that is. We love to know what would make a partner successful. Who do they want to reach? What are those verticals? What are those titles? What markets are you trying to expand? That's the fun, nerdy stuff we get into.
Well, and that's another great point, is that team in particular, the three of you, and is you're almost like consultants, and you spend a lot of time investing in my business and understanding what our objectives are, and you've done a really nice job of delivering brands who are targets for us in industries that are targets for us. Like the American Eagle brand is a perfect example. We came to you with an objective of reaching a younger demographic, of finding brands that we could draft behind that would give our brand perception of a younger brand, and make our brand more appealing to younger consumers. And American Eagle has delivered that in spades fantastically.
Awesome. You're actually hosting in Pittsburgh in a couple of weeks, so you should check that out. We're excited for it. So speaking of events, this is just a couple of fun questions as we round this out before the networking break. If Brand Innovators could produce an event anywhere, where personally would you like to see us do it?
We had talked to Brand Innovators. It's a great question. We had talked to Brand Innovators. Our CEO has a place in Aspen, and we wanted to do something there, but his wife is a super designer, and there's no red wine allowed in the house, and we were going to host a dinner there, and it ultimately was we can't do it because it was just too much stress on our CEO. But I think a destination kind of event where you could bring a small number of sponsors, a small number of clients, brands, and do something beyond the classroom that we're in now, outdoor, would be really appealing. I mean, I love it personally in the mountains.
I thought you might say that one. Okay, so last question before we break. Just because we're all human, so we all care about the brands that speak on stage, some more than others, of course, right? But tell us about a brand that has spoken, let's say in the past year, that you were personally very excited to hear from.
So we got together at CES at the beginning of the year. This is, and for those who go to CES, it's super painful, but super exhilarating. It's painful because it's right after Christmas. You've been in a cocoon for 2 weeks, and then next thing you're like in Vegas, and it's like getting punched in the head. But, but you gotta go, right? And playing out is brutal. And I had the opportunity at Brand Innovators activation there to spend time with Tim Mapes, who's the CMO of Delta Airlines. And for me, that was, when I think about my life, and I think about the brands that are my go-to utility brands, Delta's right there. Like, I interact with the Delta app probably every day, looking at it. Like, and I'm sure y'all do. Like, how long till diamond? How long till platinum? And you think about that. And the other thing that I thought was so great about that event, and Delta is all about service. They're one of the most humble, high-performance brands out there. And everybody's at CES, beginning of the year, showing their wares, showing innovation, trying to out-innovate. And Delta had a drop your mic moment because Delta showed up, and what Delta was giving away Wi-Fi. That's where Delta revealed its free Wi-Fi for all, and nothing else mattered. And to me, it just resonated. You saw what resonated with this crowd. Technology is great, this is that, but free Wi-Fi on your flights, fantastic. And the interaction was great. Tim Mapes as a CMO, he just embodies exactly what Delta is every day.
Yeah, I have to agree. I live in Atlanta, so I fly a lot of Delta. Yeah, that would have been my mindset too.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time here today, and thanks for all of you for sticking around.
Thank you, partners.
Yes. Thank you.